If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the sheer volume of fitness trends out there, or, just found yourself searching for a sense of deep internal grounding, well, you are in the exact right place. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're inviting you inside the doors of Pratimoksha, Dubai's premier center for authentic yoga. We're going to strip away all that commercial noise and look at a tradition that has survived for literally centuries. Why? Because of its incredible power to transform not just the body, but the mind.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I want to start by gently posing a question to you. What is Hatha Yoga, really? Think about it for a second, and honestly, I want you to challenge whatever preconceived notions you might be holding onto right now. Because most people, when they hear the word Hatha, they picture something very specific. You know what I mean? Soft music, lots of pillows, long stretches, kind of sleepy. Basically, a gentle beginner's class. A warm-up before you graduate to the real yoga. But what if I told you that reputation is almost entirely wrong? Look, there is a stark, absolutely fundamental contrast between the commercial myth and the Pratimoksha reality. On one side, you have the watered-down, app-based version of Hatha, the myth that it's just a passive stepping stone. And on the other side, we have the robust reality that we teach every single day at our studio. Hatha is foundational, absolutely, but it is also highly demanding. It's a rigorous, deep study of your own internal steadiness. It's not some beginner category sitting below other styles. It's a completely different approach to how you use your body and mind.
Let's transition into Section 1, the ancient roots. Let's look at the linguistics for a second, because words hold incredible power. The word Hatha actually comes from two Sanskrit syllables, Ha, meaning sun, and Ta, meaning moon. And this isn't just some poetic phrasing, it's pointing directly to the ultimate goal of the entire practice, the union and harmonization of opposing forces inside your body. Heat and coolness, effort and ease, movement and stillness. As we often teach at Pratimoksha, this practice is fundamentally about finding that precise point of internal balance.
In this pursuit of balance, it has a rich, deep history. The practice was actually codified in texts like the Hatha Yoga Pradipika way back in the 15th century. Just to put that into perspective, that is centuries before yoga ever reached a global fitness studio or a modern booking app. Today, we face a pretty massive contrast between widespread commercialization and the authentic practice we preserve at Pratimoksha. We are honoring a tradition refined over hundreds of years for a very, very specific reason.
In fact, if you look at that original text, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, you'll realize very quickly that it is not a gentle document. It describes a comprehensive system. It's got asana, which are the physical postures, pranayama, breath regulation, shatkarmas, or cleansing practices, mudras, which are energetic gestures, and bandhas, internal locks. True Hatha is a complete, rigorous system designed to purify the physical body. Why? To prepare it for deep, sustained meditation. The physical postures aren't the final destination. They're just the preparation.
Moving on to Section 2, the Pratimoksha philosophy.
Our founder, Lalitha Viswanath, has more than 19 years of experience, and when she describes her approach to teaching Hatha, she consistently returns to this one profound truth. She says, the posture is a vehicle. What you're practicing is not the shape, it's the steadiness, the breath, the quality of attention inside the shape. Just let that sink in for a moment. We are shifting the goal entirely from making aesthetically pleasing physical shapes to cultivating deep mental stillness. And that reframe? It changes absolutely everything about how you step onto a yoga mat.
Let's make this concrete. Take a familiar pose, like Warrior II. Under our philosophy, it is no longer just a leg workout. Instead, it's reimagined as a study in what happens to your mind when your body is placed under mild physical demand. When your thigh starts to burn, can you stay? Can you maintain a smooth breath? Where does your attention wander to? Your grocery list, an argument from yesterday. And crucially, can you bring it back to the present moment? These aren't just poetic questions we ask our students. They are the actual, tangible content of the practice.
Up next, Section 3, the physical reality.
So let's look at how this builds a structured experience. When you take a Hatha class at Pratimoksha, it is not passive. Believe me, your body works. But the quality of engagement is totally different from your standard gym session. Step 1, we ask you to inhabit the position with steadiness. Step 2, you regulate the breath. Step 3, you observe the internal response. Notice what's missing? You're not racing through a sequence just to break a sweat. We emphasize observation over mere physical output, teaching you to hold a position long enough that something deeply useful can actually happen inside it.
And we don't just rely on ancient wisdom here. This traditional approach is totally validated by modern science. A 2021 review published in the Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health looked closely at Hatha Yoga. It found meaningful improvements in physical markers like flexibility, strength, and balance, but it also found crucial improvements in psychological markers, specifically meaningful reductions in perceived stress and anxiety scores. These dual benefits are absolutely critical, especially for working-age adults carrying heavy professional loads.
Which brings us to Section 4, Yoga for Dubai Professionals.
In our experience at the studio, we see a distinct truth every single day. For those who are used to measuring effort in reps, kilometers, or hours, stillness is often the most demanding challenge of all. For high performers right here in Dubai, where the pressure to perform rarely lets up, slowing down is incredibly difficult. Sometimes they find stillness far more demanding than constant movement. But we tell them honestly, that is not a problem with Hatha. That difficulty is exactly the point. It's why we introduce it not as easy yoga, but as foundational yoga.
Part of the confusion actually comes from how the word is used commercially today. On booking platforms, Hatha basically functions as a code word for beginners, but that flattens the entire tradition. Look at dynamic systems like Vinyasa, Ashtanga, Iyengar, and Kundalini. Technically speaking, they are all Hatha systems. Sure, they differ in emphasis and sequencing, but they share the exact same root. Hatha isn't a beginner category sitting below them. It's the parent tradition from which all of these descend.
Finally, Section 5, Starting Without Assumptions. If you're coming to our Oud Meet the Studio for the very first time, here is exactly how we ask you to approach the mat. First, suspend your assumptions that it'll be easy. Second, do not assume you already know the poses, even if you've done them 100 times in a fitness class. And third, bring only a willingness to pay attention. You'll find that the exact same pose, practiced attentively over months, reveals entirely different things at different times. If you choose depth over variety, the practice just keeps opening up.
Look, Dubai has absolutely no shortage of fitness options that will simply elevate your heart rate. What's much rarer is a practice that slows the demand down long enough for something more than just physical conditioning to take place. If you're curious about what a proper class looks like, not the app version, not the gym studio version, booking a trial session at Pratimoksha is really the most direct way to find out. We assume no prior experience, just your presence.
I want to leave you with this final, vital question. Are you ready to discover what happens when you finally slow the demand and face the stillness? True Hatha Yoga, practiced properly, asks something from you beyond mere physical effort. But for the right student, that is exactly what makes it worth doing. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. I highly encourage you to reflect on your own need for internal quiet, and we truly hope to see you on the mat at Pratimoksha very soon.